Hello everyone,
Hey guys,
and welcome to 2016. Already, yeah.
God.
It doesn't seem 5 minutes since we did the last one of these podcasts.
No, when we were telling people we went to see Star Wars, which we did.
Yeah, awesome. It was awesome. It's a fantastic return to form for the series.
Oh yeah,
well done J.J. Abrams for that.
Makes you feel like a kid again as well.
Yeah.
Really weird feeling sitting there and all of a sudden you suddenly go you don't know whether to cry, scream or just shout. It's so strange of a feeling it is. But yes, wicked film. We won't give any spoilers away because there's still people that haven't seen it.
No.
But really looking forward to the next couple that's coming out. They did post yesterday the 5 is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And which was of course episode 8. Episode 9, the Han Solo
standalone film on there.
Standalone film. And there's apparently 2 Boba Fett films coming out. So I'm quite intrigued about that.
Yeah.
About time too. It's about time Boba Fett had his own film, a sort of series genre. Then
if they did like how he escaped from the Sarlacc, that could be one film and got recovery and that kind of thing, or before he had the contract for Han, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's going to be very cool to find out. It is. But, I'm looking forward to that one because that's going to go into, again, different part of the story, which apparently is what Disney want to do. They want to just do the next 3 for the main trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call them. There's 9 of them altogether.
A lot of films.
Yeah, so, and then apparently they're going to take it in different directions to explain different characters, different Jedi, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's another one.
Oh yeah.
They're going to do.
Yeah.
And apparently they're talking to Ewan McGregor.
That'd be nice.
Which would be very cool because he did play him in prequels.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope they sign him. So that'd be really good.
Because they could do a film about him after the Empire one, wouldn't it? Between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope.
New Hope.
Yeah.
It'd be brilliant. It would, because again, you could fill in gaps.
Yeah.
But for him to have a film on his own as well.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Very looking forward to that.
So I'd recommend it if you haven't already seen it. I mean, probably most of you have. Yeah. It's a good film. We had the major spoiler ruined to us by a small child.
Yeah, we stood outside waiting to go in, and
then you come out and say, "I can't believe
what happened."
It was like,
oh, thank you.
Parents, why didn't you just go, "Oi, over there"? You know?
Yeah, it was a bit annoying, but it's still an amazing film. I absolutely loved every second of it.
Yeah. Similar to A New Hope.
I found that, storyline's very similar, but it's probably the only way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, if you know the story, it's probably the only way to start you into the next.
Because there's a lot of similarities between what's happening plot-wise and that, but I think he's playing it, Disney playing it safe. Yeah. After the mixed bag that were the prequels, they wanted something that worked, and hopefully now the next one, which is traditionally dark, the second films are usually traditionally dark. Well,
J.J. Abrams has said he's really annoyed with himself that he didn't sign himself up and direct it because there's another director, and he's actually seen the script and he said it's very dark and he would love to be able to direct it. So that was kind of cool.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully it's going to be a very good film. Yeah, it is. And again, that's 2017, May 2017.
2017. It's going to be a busy year, that is.
Rogue One is out
this year.
December 16th. Rogue One comes out. I want to see that because again, that's based on the plans for stealing the Death Star. Plans. And that, so again, that should be quite good because again, it's going old school, which means there should be stormtroopers in it and things like that.
Proper props and proper puppets, which is amazing to see in this film. It's like, traditional special effects. Traditional puppets. Marvellous,
One that absolutely baffled me, which I can actually talk about because it's on the trailer, is when they're going into that spaceport cafe thing. And that robot's walking past. Big red robot.
Oh yeah.
I just assumed it was CGI, and then watching some of the stuff that had been on Sky behind the scenes, it's an actual guy
man in a suit.
And he's like, what? Because you swear to God, it's CGI. It looks like sort of impressive. But I loved every second of it. Yeah, brilliant it was. But go see it. Go watch all of them again on DVD, Sky, Blu-ray, whatever you got. Download. Watch them all. If you've got Sky at the moment, head over to Demand. All the Star Wars films are on there. Clone Wars cartoons are all on there. I think it's series 1 to 4.
Right.
And obviously the Clone Wars cartoon film as well. All on there for you to watch. Nice. I've been watching the Clone Wars. I have enjoyed it. I also started getting into the Disney Star Wars Rebels.
Right.
it's a bit young, but Clone Wars, definitely.
It's got me back in playing Star Wars games now. I started playing Republic Commando over New Year.
Game.
Yeah.
Awesome game. It is. Very good game. We have to get Battlefront, I suppose, now.
Well, now that Mike has a PS4.
I got a PS4 now. In all fairness, I was iffing around all last year, but with coming out of university, we graduated university, me and my wife, and we've got the studio. It's kind of hard just to say, right, I'm going to drop £300 there and go and buy one. And, because the studio could be quiet 1 week or 1 month, and you've got to rely on money that you can fall back on. So it was like, no, I don't think I'll bother. And then my wife and my mother-in-law surprised me, and I got up Christmas morning, and there it was. So believe me, I was happy. Yeah. Because the first thing I did was take a picture and send it to Lee. It was like, it's here. I'm going. And so I've got a white PS4. I had Uncharted with it, which awesome game. But anybody that buys it, please be aware there is a bug in it that Naughty Dog know about it, and the other company.
Blue Point Games.
Thank you, Blue Point Games. There is a terrible bug for basically anywhere in the game, and you'll suddenly go off and tell you save game's corrupt. Now you should be okay with backups and things. Me being the idiot, I just kept overwriting my save game, and your bloody thing went, and I got to Yemen as well on the final game. So
I was close to the end as well.
Yeah, but I'll end up picking it back up at some point, but I'm currently playing Wolfenstein, which you let me, which I'm loving, and FIFA 16, which again is awesome. Yeah, it is very, very match of the day. That's probably the best way to explain it. And Sky Sports,
right? Oh yeah.
The best way to explain it, because you do your match, and half time comes round, and as half time comes round, you've literally got highlights with music of the best bits of that half, and it's really good because you can think, and they even got the commentary going over it as you coming in, so it's quite cool. It is. But I'm playing at the moment, and I also got Battlefield 4, which I had a quick go of, which is chaotic. It's like Call of Duty, only madder. That's probably the best way. Yeah. But you can drive vehicles and things like that. And so I've never really been a Battlefield fan, so I'll end up doing something with it.
I've been playing Just Cause 3, which I had for Christmas as well.
That's good.
It's buggy in places, but they're very funny bugs. Like when you use the tether to tether things together and the rest of it, and you end up with a man flying in front of you. Where did he come from? And then you suddenly realise an helicopter has crashed on his own accord, and his loads of stuff going on there. But it's a good game. Story's a bit weak, but it's not about that. It's about causing as much mayhem and destruction as possible.
There's bugs in all these games. FIFA is terrible for it. It is. I've seen someone online. Luckily, nothing have happened to me yet, but I've seen someone online where they pass to the keeper, and suddenly the keeper's run off up the field, and the ball's just trickling slowly into the goal, or ones where you'll go in for a sliding tackle and you think he's in a Japanese kung fu film, and you'll suddenly spin around your knee about 60 times and fly across the bloody pitch. You think, what?
Nice. Acrobatic.
So there's some bugs in a couple of these games, but FIFA's fantastic for it. If you go along to YouTube and type it in, it's really funny. Ridiculous, some of them.
Right then, so let's go on to our first topic then.
Yes, news. As most of you have been following this, and most of you know me and Lee, I am a photographer, and I got quite excited the other night, including messaging you. I think it was like 12 o'clock at night when I sent you the thing about it.
I can't remember.
That's CES in Las Vegas, which is also rated by the FBI, which was funny, but we'll come up with that after. Nikon announced what everybody was expecting them to announce, which was the D5, which is their new flagship pro camera. I absolutely love the D4 and the D4S. I've used them. It's just the fact that you're looking at £4,000 just for a body on one of them. But the announcement then for the D5 was all right. Let's see what this thing will do, and I have some specs and everything for you, which just disappeared. All my specs just disappeared.
You are offline.
I'm offline. I actually know the specs anyway, right? So I'll go through them now. Right, the D5, basically, what sort of give it its all inspiring wow. They've come up with it. They've gone from a 9 frames per second to a 12 frames per second, which is lightning fast. It's a very sports and fashion photography orientated camera. Any sportsman uses them. And one of the biggest things this year was the fact that it's got 153 focus points. So your focus points, as Lee would know, you're looking through, you've got your little squares that pop up. It's got 153 of them, so for sport photography, when you've got something moving quickly across the screen, it's going to go pop, 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 and pick them up, no trouble. 99 cross points as well, which you wouldn't know what I'm talking about, so they would. People out there do. So again, this thing is the fastest autofocus camera in the world right now. The next thing was the ISO. The ISO blew everybody away when they announced the fact that it has 100 ISO to 100,400 ISO, which is a negative ISO, which is your normal 1 to 10 or whatever you want to name it. That's your best bet. Which is your natural ISO for doing shoots. But as most Nikon cameras, they give you what's known as the high fives ISO, where it gives you 5 stops higher. The 5th stop, which is the big one everybody was interested in, was 3,280,000. Now, this is the equivalent of being in a dark room with no windows, no lights, switching this on and being able to basically see through your camera like it was daylight. This is a massive thing. Don't get me wrong, you're going to take a photograph with the high ISO that high, it's going to be grainy as all hell. But it's just the fact that this camera's sensor will pick up that much in the dark. Even if you don't go that high, you're going to be looking at an amazing amount of quality when you're doing it your normal ISOs, which for every day anyway from 100 to 8,000, 16,000. I mean, I think the highest I've ever gone on mine, the D750, was 8,000.
Right.
There's not a bit of grain on it. It's a sensational bloody photograph, but it's just the fact that this thing was shooting low light that much. It will, but this D5 just looks astonishing. Next thing, finally, 4K on Nikon's DSLRs, because they were the last to do it. There's a reason why they're the last to do it. There is, because 4K at the moment, what a lot of people don't tell you is when you get a 4K camera on DSLRs, they only record to a certain amount because of the size of SD cards. Don't forget, this is a massive, massive file. Big point with this 4K, which is why it's got a lot of film buffs, including my friend here, getting me excited. All DSLRs at the moment that shoot 4K on a cropped sensor. Okay, so they shoot it on a DX sensor, whereas full frame obviously is an FX sensor. Being an FX camera, Nikon has decided not to shoot on a cropped sensor. They've decided to shoot on a full frame sensor. So you were getting full 4K on a full frame sensor. So your file's going to be ridiculous. The specs they announced was it'll do 3-minute bursts of 4K, and you'd fill in a 32 gig card, which is a big file. I don't edit video anymore. Lee edits video. To edit 32 gigs of file for just one 3-minute clip is probably going to melt your computer.
It was bad enough when I was shooting on that camera, which is the D5200, full HD, 60 frames a second. It was just ridiculously difficult to edit it. The file size, you're looking at 4 gig for about 4 minutes. It was a gig a minute.
So this was the big wow, Jesus, But with the 4K recording is 30 frames per second in full 4K. It'll also do 1080p, which is 60 frames per second. Which again, most filmmakers still use 1080p. So I think the big boys that are going to start shooting 4K and 8K. I think the first 8K film is going to be shot this year, actually.
Something like that,
yeah. It's the first, which is going to be used. The Red Scarlets and things like that are going to start pumping them out, expect. But again, there's 2 choices with this one. Again, of card sizes, you can have 2, which are XP cards, and then there's 2 of them, which is the bigger cards. If you're going to buy one, you are looking at about $6,000 just for the body. I recommend if you're any filmmaker out there that has the money and you're going to buy a D5, it is probably the best DSLR camera on the market. It's going to be for a while. It is, this thing. But please don't record to the internal memory or any cards or anything. Just buy an Atomos and record to one of those. Because if you're going to record 4K, that's the only way you're going to do it. It is. Now, also at the show, they announced the predecessor to the D300, which is the D500. Now I was quite shocked at this because the D500 is basically all the good specs of the D5. 153 focusing points. It hasn't got quite the high ISO of 3 million.
Right.
It goes up to 100,400. That's it. The ISO. But the biggest shock, which I was sort of okay. Frame rate is 10 frames per second. Again, so it's matching, coming up with the D5, but not exactly the same as the D5. But it's a DX. It's not an FX. It's not a full frame camera. It is going to be Nikon's, basically the big boy DX camera, which will take you then into the full frame. And I'll buy another camera, and then obviously you go into the full frame market. But it's just the fact they pump in the D5's autofocus system on it, the D5's chip inside of it, which is the X-Speed 5. The speed then with the ISO, and just the actual ability that it's not a full frame, it's DX, but it's £2,000. And when you think a DX camera, and it's going to be £2,000. It is. Again, they'll record on SD cards. They come straight from the SD cards. But I am looking at it. I'm being very tempted as a backup camera. Yeah. Because this is quite a wallopy camera. This is to be able to achieve that frame rate, 10 frames per second for any sports photography you want to do. Amazing. The ISO on it's fantastic. Just the auto framing for anything, it's just mind blowing. But it's just the fact this is a DX. When they announced it wasn't full frame, and I thought, okay, why? But I can see their ways. I mean, I can understand if they'd put a full frame sensor in it. Yeah. Basically, you'd had a baby D5 for £2,000. So everybody would have gone, what's the point of me buying that one just for a couple of extra ISO height levels and a battery grip which is built in on the T5 when I can have this one. So kind of taking it there, but yeah. 2 brand new cameras. As I said, the D5 just looks incredible. I watched the press conference. I've seen the videos about 9 times now, just going over it. I've seen when the Nikon ambassadors put it through its works, and I'm so tempted in the coming years. I think it won't be in the coming months, but in the coming years, to finally sink my teeth into one of these. The good news about it is default prices are going down, and default S prices are coming down as well. I know for a fact the default prices have already dropped by £2,000. So. Good thing.
It is a good thing. It is a good thing. Right, we've got 1 minute left. So when are these cameras coming out?
They're out. They're out for pre-order now. They should be out end of this month for delivery. But if you want to pre-order one, you can do it right now. You can. Jessups are offering £2,000 cash back on cameras. Yeah. and trading cameras as well. So good luck with that. But it's only on the D5.
Well, if you win the jackpot tonight, then you can get it.
If I win the jackpot, I'll buy a couple of them, and we'll do like a big unboxing and everything, and we'll pull it up for a prize or something. We will. But any camera lover, any filmmaker with these things as well. I mean, the D500, I did forget to say, that does shoot 4K as well. So it's a DX crop sensor, so it's going to be a lower frame, and it's going to be a lower gig as well. Yeah. So again, amazing for filmmakers.
Brilliant.
So look out for them, guys. Really, really big news is this from Nikon. Really big news.
Wow. So there we are. This is the first episode of 2016 Creative Talk.
And my info disappeared.
His info disappeared because we don't have Wi-Fi down here at the moment. All right, we'll see you in is it 2 weeks we film these? It is, isn't it? It's every other week. Every other week. Because it's been that long. Right. See you again, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.